This list that I'm holding here is a list of the pictures that Bette Davis has made. It goes on and on and on, and it is such a great pleasure to introduce her. Her career speaks for itself, and the high quality of her work during her career speaks for itself. She's given everybody in the world so much pleasure, and she will star with Jimmy Stewart in a film which will be on home box office later this year. And to add to her many achievements, I don't know whether you knew this or not, she made an album in England in 1976, which apparently is again available in record stores, called Miss Bette Davis Sings. Would you welcome, please, Miss Bette Davis? Yeah. That's the way they feel.
Johnny?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a red rose. It has a lot to do with Valentine's Day. You are not forced to be my Valentine. I'm not asking that of you. Also, this is to thank you for the night I was ill and couldn't come, and you made it very clear, you and Mr. Sheehan, that I was ill, as indeed I was. And I finally realized you have a hit show. No, I have. I really got so many get well cards from your show.
That's
you
great.
do not believe it. And any of you who sent me some of those, oh, I do thank you very much.
Well, isn't
Happy
that
Valentine's.
sweet? Thank you very much. No. Knowing you, only illness kept you off the show that night, and you.
Oh,
and...
yes. I have a very Yankee thing about not promising and not doing, and it was just. I actually had that flu bug for 4 weeks.
Right. You
Just
feeling?
the worst.
You
Oh,
feeling
yes,
good now?
Oh, yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
You know, I was thinking today, the last time you were.
You
on
know
this
how
show.
long ago? Do you know they told me
Well,
backstage?
I can't believe it.
We must be bitter enemies.
I said it was something I said.
It's 10 years ago.
1972.
1972.
Did I do something wrong?
I don't. It's too long ago to remember.
I'd remember that you had made an album, and then somebody told me about it. You made this in 1976, recorded it
In England.
In England.
Yes, with Norman Newell at EMI. And he had wanted to make a record with me for years. And I've done lots of music in my life, 2 musicals in the theater, and I've either too young or too old, several things, but there are many other songs on this. And I'd always wanted to make an LP.
Yeah.
And so I had the opportunity, but nobody in America bought it until now.
Isn't that strange?
So now, well, I thought it was terrible they did that. I was absolutely livid. And as a matter of fact, I asked to come on your show this time. You did not ask me. I just want you to know that. Because I'm a sales lady tonight. I'm hoping that maybe this will help people buy this record if they know it's around.
Right.
Citadel Records. Oh, I must give the whole...
Including songs from...
I must give the whole name of the company.
Okay.
Which I don't really remember, and I must do it properly if I'm a sales lady.
Certainly. Some of the songs are including songs from Whatever Happened to Baby
Oh,
Jane,
yes.
All About Eve.
Citadel Records, division of Verisa Saraband. Now, also, I had to give up signing this album at Tower Records in Westwood that same week.
When you were ill.
I am going to do it this Saturday, Westwood Tower Records. Now, interestingly enough, you know I've never gone on one of these shows to sell anything.
No, I don't think you
I haven't. Not to sell a film. I just don't believe in selling yourself. But this record, I would be so thrilled if people bought it because EM... No.
You want to be a bullet on the charts, don't you?
Yeah. Because I was so incensed with EMI that they just dumped this record. So that's what would please me. Vengeance.
That's what I like. That's what I like. Vengeance is mine, saith Victor Davis.
Vengeance is mine.
That's what I like, is honesty, right out. Yeah. We'll take a break. We're coming back. We got a lot of things to discuss. We'll be back in a minute. When was the first time you sang in a film? Remember?
The first number was They're Either Too Young or Too Old.
Right.
And Mr. Lesser and Mr. Arthur Schwartz came to me and said they had an idea for me to do a musical number. Well, I roared with laughter, walked out, and said, thanks a lot. But finally, in the long run, I did it. Of course, that number was during the war, and that was a hit. That was at the top of the, well, we both remember the Lucky Strike Parade.
Yes.
It was on for years. And that was the top number for 10 solid weeks.
Right.
Yes. Well, of course, Frankie Lesser, what words? I mean, how can you get better?
Yes. You've been described as a legend, an extraordinary actress. How would you like to be best remembered?
Is a good worker.
Just a good,
I have
solid
adored the
professional?
work. My goal was never the marvelous good fortune of the public. That was never my goal.
Right.
My goal was to do the best I could, and I just adored the work.
Right. When you were criticized, and I suppose there are times that all performers, artists have been criticized.
Well, actually, if you are never criticized, if everybody says, that's a very nice actress, good
Right.
actress, you have had it. You must have pros and you must have cons.
Right.
And heaven knows I've had a lot of cons. There's no question.
No, I don't remember many of those.
Yes, many people. When I did my show in London, a wonderful English woman got up in the Palladium and said, I'm here alone tonight because my husband hates you.
Well, the lady was
And
honest,
I
I
said,
guess.
you just go right home and tell him, join the club, there are many who do.
That's kind of hard to answer. I was looking at the list of pictures that you've made, and they got to be over 100 motion pictures here.
Well, it's certainly in the area of 100. I have lost count.
You had two Academy Awards, 10 nominations, and every one of them for Best Actress, not
Yeah.
supporting. Mm-hmm. That is incredible. I don't know anybody
And
else
I
has
was
been.
disappointed about a couple of them I didn't get.
Really?
I always wanted to be the first one who got 3.
Ah.
Miss Hepburn beat me.
And you still enjoy working?
Yes, nowadays.
Is the challenge still there?
Nowadays, not the same challenge.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
When
not
you're
the
young,
same
I mean.
challenge. Basically, I did it, you know. But once I get started working, if it's, for instance, like this picture with Jimmy Stewart, this was a thrill because to work with him, we never ever had, and it was just like it used to be.
Right.
Once I get beyond the makeup and the hours, and taking the makeup off when you get home at night, which is the
Right.
worst bore of all. When I'm on the set working, I love it. But I do not get up and jump with joy at 6 o'clock in the morning.
You are not a nice person at 6 in the morning, you're
No,
saying.
I'm nice, but I just don't jump with joy.
Yes.
I begged William Wyler to make another film with me, for so many years after he retired. And he said, I've had every morning of my life getting up at 6 o'clock. I
Right.
will never do it again. And those are the things that finally, it doesn't bother you when you're working very hard to accomplish a goal. But it isn't the same thrill. I have to admit that.
Right.
But I do always hope still that it's good. I haven't just sort of sat back and said, well, people have great respect for you and it doesn't really much matter what you do. That would never be for me.
You still have to have a pride in everything you
I
do.
still have to do it as well as I can.
Were there any actors or actresses that influenced you specifically at any time?
I don't know if influenced me. One of the passions of my life, of course, was Anna Magnani. Absolutely. And she had sort of the same reputation in her country that I finally ended up in mine. So I always said there was one in each country.
Right.
Influenced, I don't have a memory of being actually influenced.
Right.
I always wanted to have Katharine Hepburn's gorgeous face. You know, I would look at mine and say, why can't you look like that divine woman? So that kind of envy I may have had. But I don't think I was influenced, which is probably a very conceited remark.
No, but look at the people who
I
probably
just
have
went
envied
my
you.
own way. must have gone my own way, I guess.
And look at the people who probably have envied you and your career.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Has there been any actor or actress that you've really wanted to work with? You said, I find it interesting that you'd never worked with James Stewart.
No, you see, Gable, Stewart, all those marvelous people were Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. And I was
Those were the
Warner
studio
Brothers.
days,
and
weren't they?
you never went back and forth at all. Because people sort of couldn't believe Jimmy and I'd never worked together. There was never any opportunity, nor did we ever think we would.
Right. You think it is better for actors today to be a little more independent and not have the major
No,
studio
I think the
commitments?
contract system is a great lack for young players.
Right.
For young players.
To learn the craft.
Oh, yes, to learn the craft and to have that solid job week after week after week.
Did you ever do a picture you really didn't want to do?
Well, the first 2 years, I did every one I didn't want to do. Oh, yes, parachute jumper, housewife.
I saw that. Now, I don't remember
Bureau
Parachute
of
Jumper.
Oh, they don't put these on television, thank God. Bureau of Missing Persons. Golden, horrible. They were what they called the B pictures in those days.
Right.
But
you were obligated under contract to do them.
Under contract, and I didn't have the position in the beginning. But we did learn our
Yes.
craft. But of course, I came from the theater. I'd been in the theater 4 or 5 years, so I had some knowledge of acting. But I think it's sad today, because with the contract system, there was such continuity.
Right.
You know, and that's why people got to know you, love you, and you became part of the family. They saw you year after year after year after year, and they
Right.
bought properties for you, they bought plays for you. It's very difficult today to get scripts.
Right. Do you, are you a severe critic of yourself when you watch yourself? Or
Really?
do
I've never appreciated, I have never liked what I have done. Every time I have finished a film in all these years, I say, now let's make it. Now I know what I'm doing. Because that's the worst of motion pictures. The first day you've got to play that character, because that first day will be shown just as much as your last day.
Right.
That is very difficult, as opposed to the theater where you rehearse.
But you must be happy with some of your work.
Well, now, when I'm removed and see some of them, I never could stand my face, of course. It was just one of those things. No, truthfully, never could stand my face. Directors kept me out of rushes because I'd be so depressed for days.
What didn't you like about your face?
I thought it was hideous. I couldn't stand it. Well, now I'm a great many years older, and I see some of those films, and I don't think there's any question I was the best-looking woman.
I'll buy that. And sexy, too. Yeah.
Well, now,
And sexy, too.
And sexy, too. Now, have I lost all that?
No.
The sex part?
No.
I don't want it anymore.
Well, you can think about it, can't you? I mean...
No, I don't even think about it. In other words, I am not a frustrated woman in that way.
Good.
Fortunately, because I imagine I would have very few opportunities.
Yeah.
Very few.
What do you like to do now when you... What's a nice day for you to enjoy yourself?
My home.
Really?
Yes, I'm a very domestic person.
Sentimental?
Very sentimental about my things, my joy in the fact that I have 3 children and 3 grandsons, and very domestic. And after about 6 months of this, I am ready to go to work again.
Right.
Yes, but that's about as much as I want to work.
Yeah. You got something coming up? Sure.
Not at the moment. No, not at the moment. I do not.
Yeah.
Scripts, I've been very fortunate with the networks, you see. I've had 4 of the greatest parts for my age in the last 2 or 3 years that anybody could ever have, and Right of Way is another one. And I personally think the networks are doing films about people much more than what they now snobbishly call theatrical films.
I
You see,
agree
it's
with you.
now television films and theatrical films, and you're not really in
Right.
if you're not making theatrical films. I think the networks are doing some absolutely
I do too.
incredible scripts. I mean it.
You know,
Incredible scripts.
One thing you did...
Did you see Thursday's Child the other night?
No, I did not. I understand it was
Well,
wonderful.
Vicki Poole, who wrote that book, was my neighbor in Portland, Maine. And I knew that whole family, and Sam, and all of them. And, well, it's an incredible book and an incredible story. But that's just one of many, many. Right of Way is another great script. Just great.
Good. We're going to take a break, and you know Richard Pryor, don't you?
We just met backstage
Did you?
for one fleeting second.
All righty. Well, we'll have a couple more
So now
fleeting
we'll have
seconds out
fleeting
here.
seconds.
Would you walk? We'll be right back.